Hello again. Part 2 of the Recovery 101. I don't know why that keeps happening, that I'm getting callings. Maybe it's a sign when I'm doing these things. Okay, so the sun is very much so in my eyes. Okay, so the first part, a couple of little things there, stopping about the journaling and the IGTVs there. Another thing I would recommend, another resource, the podcasts, okay? I'm just thinking there's so many podcasts there. It's just quite a noise for me to make there. And the podcasts, there's so many podcasts out there. I get that, right? And we're in the information age, so sometimes it's like there's like a list this long of podcasts to listen to. With the Calling It Out podcast, it's really practical how I would encourage that you kind of approach it. If you're listening to it, okay, yes, I know some of you listen to it while going to bed and kind of going into the subconscious mind and everything like that. I won't take that personally, that the podcast is helping you go to sleep. But when you're listening to the podcast, so there's so many different episodes there, and there's going to be more. I'll be going back into the studio soon to finish season 2. But when you listen to, so they can be a bit long and they can be a bit dense with information, so I've been told. So even just splitting them in half. So if you're listening to a podcast, okay, even like 15 minutes and then another 15 minutes maybe later on that day or the next day, but always asking yourself and writing down and thinking it, inking it. What did I take from that episode? What did I learn, or what did I realise, okay, or what resonated with me? And how could I apply that to where I am with my journey at the moment? So if you're listening to the podcast, I'm not saying you're not allowed to listen to them if you're not writing about them, but if you really want to get more from them as a resource and a recovery resource, stop and make space for reflection about what you're getting from them and how you can apply it to where you are. The same goes as well for merenotherapycentre.com, the website. There, if you go onto the blog, and just even a blog a day to keep the condition at bay, even just reading a post, okay? There's so many posts there from people who are recovering, and practitioners. So even if you want to put in the search bar, freedom, trust, body image, if there's something coming up for you, a whole wealth of an archive is going to come up. And just even reading those posts, and once again, what did I take from it and how can I apply it? Recovery is really practical. So what we want to practice not doing is just being overwhelmed by information. But if we are connecting with information and recovery resources, we want to kind of utilize them as much as possible. So making that space for reflection. So you've got the podcast and you've got the blogs on the website, and the same would go for any IGTV videos here as well. Always kind of reflecting, if you can, okay? Always sounds like a little bit of a demand, but as much as possible. So another thing is groups, okay? So the groups are every Tuesday and every Saturday. The beauty of Zoom at the moment, and hopefully one day we will be back in person in this very room, okay? Every Tuesday 7:30 to 9, and every Saturday 10:30 to 12. Saturday carers and parents or partners or friends or anyone who wants to learn is welcome to come along. Tuesday is just people with personal experiences. You don't have to share. You don't have to put your camera on, okay? I mean, you can even change your name. So there's a lot of people kind of taking down their names. They don't want to put their camera on, and that's absolutely fine. Of course, we would encourage you to show up and share, just your own presence with the group. But if you don't feel comfortable to do that yet, then it's a wonderful opportunity to kind of step into a group space where maybe before all of this stuff was happening in the world you mightn't have done. So there's a link on the website, and if you want any more information on the groups, you can send us an email, merenotherapycentre@gmail.com. But there's no pressure to share, okay? You can just literally listen. People are often afraid to go to the groups. We don't talk specifically about behaviours, and they're going to be facilitated by a practitioner. We look at a different topic each week. It's very much so about like how to make life easier, okay? Because that's really what recovery and freedom is all about. You don't need to be attending one-to-one sessions at Merino in order to come to the groups. You can just sign on whenever you choose to do so. And what else? Yeah. people can often want to avoid the groups, but the most powerful thing about the groups is that even if something is maybe it's bringing something uncomfortable up for you sometimes, or you feel like maybe you don't, something's just kind of clashing with you, that's a wonderful opportunity to bring things up to the surface much sooner. So you could bring that even to your journaling, or you can bring that into your one-to-one sessions if that's what you're engaging with at the moment. But the groups are a wonderful way to bring the stuff up to the surface so we can wipe it away. Okay, so podcasts, reflections, groups, they are going to be speeding up the recovery process. So hopefully that is something that you might find helpful in between or while you're waiting for a one-to-one appointment. And remembering that full recovery is possible.